Should we give it a few seconds?
Entirely up to you. So right now, as soon as the streaming bot came in, you guys are now like being broadcasted live.
Okay. Okay, well, I'll just like get started then, and then as people join, they can just follow along.
Exactly.
So for anyone who doesn't know me, I'm Priscilla, and this is my friend Jose.
Nice to meet you guys.
Yeah. So we actually know each other from film school. We met about like 3 years ago, before the first day of school, actually, the day of orientation. And we instantly hit it off because we're both from the Bay Area. So that was like instant like connection, like, you know, we're on the same page. And then we actually have worked on a lot of films together. I mean, some better than others. Our most recent one was my film Mija, actually. And Jose was
award-winning short film, by the way.
Yeah, so Mija's in film festivals right now, still running, and it has been nominated and has won some awards. And I couldn't have done it without Jose. Like, seriously, could not have done it. He was like my second pair of eyes on set because he was the script supervisor. So for anyone who doesn't know what a script supervisor is, it's someone so I wrote the script. So he basically was making sure that everything that I had written in that script was staying true to the scene. Like, even if it was like the smallest thing, like this little drink right here, if this drink was here in the first like shot, like it has to continuously always be there because somebody in the audience might notice like, hey, that wasn't in there last time. Kind of like Game of Thrones when they accidentally
the water bottle.
Yeah, the water bottle was a Starbucks. I don't know, like some cup or something. That was a big L. So he was that person, just like making sure like everything was the same. And because I like as a director, I was focusing on the performance of the actors. So I'm really like invested in like the performance, the emotion. So I really just like needed him to be like, okay, does everything look exactly like how she wrote it? Yes, it does. And even if like the actors like would, say one word off, he'd be like, how do you feel about that? Like, do you want them to say the word? Is it okay if they like change it up a little bit? And I'm like, it's okay, but like, let me know. So yeah, we work really close together, and we have great trust. So that's really important in film.
Definitely, yeah. And today we're mainly going to be talking about something that I think will be very interesting, especially for film enthusiasts and people that worked on sets themselves. But these stories are just good stories to tell regardless. But we're going to be talking about bad film set experiences that we each had, and I'm sure that each of us had our fair share amount of them. So we're probably just going to start with Priscilla to talk about some of her experiences, whether they be her own film or a film that she worked on. Let's get into these juicy details about what happened to you.
Yeah, okay. Well, I guess I'll start with like someone else's set. So this was like kind of halfway through film school. And what our school made us do is like rotate positions so that you kind of get a feel of like what your forte is in like the industry. Like, for example, there's so many different roles. There's some cinematographer, director, screenwriter, like whatever, sound guy. So I was kind of knew that I wanted to be a writer and director. So I was a little hesitant when I had to do the other positions, but I was like, I'm here to learn, let's do it. So one of my classmates, she's like, hey, will you do art department on my film? Like, you're just gonna have art department's like set design. So basically what you see in that scene, like the backdrop, like posters, paintings, whatever. So basically I was like, okay, yeah, sure. And she's like, there is a lot of like drawings and paintings involved, because the girl like draws her like feelings and stuff. And I was just like, I don't think she knows like I can't draw to like save my life. So I'm just like, yeah, a little hesitant. But then she was like, well, I just told her because I was like, I'm not gonna lie, like I can't draw. So I don't know. And then she's like, oh, no, don't worry. Like it's a 12-year-old girl like drawing. And I was like, hey, but like at the same time, I was like, you know what? It's fair. Like I'll do it. So I end up doing it. And it's a 3-day shoot. It's supposed to be a 3-day shoot. And I pull up. The first like weird thing was we weren't allowed to park like anywhere near the house. The lady of that, like the owner of the house was just like, I don't want like any cars, like anybody standing there, like parked like super far away, which I mean, it happens a lot in LA, but it gets annoying when you have to like get like equipment and like art department props from the car. So it was just making it a little bit more difficult, but it was okay. And this is in like November, so it's pretty cold out. But I guess the owner like had told the director, you can shoot and like use the whole house and the garage to like set up, blah, blah, blah. Just don't be in front of the house. So we were like, okay, everybody like, do that. And we actually had to do all the art stuff outside, like in the backyard. So we wouldn't like get anything, full of paint or anything, which I totally understood. And I'm just like painting away. And I'm like, 6 more hours until lunch, painting. And it's actually, I had to draw like 3 days worth of paintings. So like, like we're getting a stack full of paintings now. And I'm like feeling good about it. And then all of a sudden, like it's lunchtime and people start like kind of going, into the house, going here, going there, like whatever. And all of a sudden you just hear like yelling, like just swearing, like, what the F are you doing? Like, blah. And everybody was just like, what's happening? Like, is it like another student yelling? Like, who's yelling? Like, is it an actor? Like, wow, are we in character? Like, what's going on? And turns out it was the owner of the house yelling at the director, which you're not really supposed to like go to the director on set when they're like working. I mean, it was a lunch break, but technically, if there's any problems, you go to.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
was it recorded? Did someone record it?
When there's any problems, you usually go to the producer because they're like in charge of other people. The director is like only creative, like doing like working with the actors and whatnot. So she's just getting yelled at, and the producer's like, please don't yell at the director, like yell at me, like what's going on, like what's the issue? And she's just like, why are people eating inside the house? And we were like, it was just so hard not to like laugh, but we're like, oh, she's serious. So we're like trying to be professional. We're like, okay, like sorry, like we'll eat outside. And then she's like, like, no, like, and you're going to try to like shoot there now. And like, just basically like causes this huge scene. And
that's the worst.
It's like swearing at everybody. And it made everybody feel really uncomfortable because like, we really didn't do anything. We thought like we could use the house because mind you, the director rented the house for 3 days. She paid like over $2,000 to be able to shoot there for like 10 to 12 hours a day.
Yeah, that's the thing that people don't understand, especially like places that you rent out, is when you rent out like a home or an apartment building using like these websites like Gigster or Peerspace, like you're essentially giving the filmmaker the right to use that space. And so when you start giving them restrictions on the day and you start kind of babysitting them around, it's kind of like you're breaching contract and you're not really allowed to do that. And usually people like that get negative reviews, but you do get your fair share of those. So it's unfortunate that happened, but continue what you're saying.
She was just like roasting and she was just like going, she like flipped personalities. It was really like, whoa. And so she actually, just because we were eating inside, she literally like stopped production. She was like, nobody is like going to be shooting in my house. This is my house. Like it's done. And we're like, okay. So we got sent home by the producers because like, it was just like, it was not happening. And
is that the one where the director started like yelling back at the actor?
So I guess when we left, the director went on a full, which I don't know if I would have handled it that way, but she basically was like in a full on like argument, like heated argument, yelling like top of lungs, like I'm going to sue you for this because you can't do this. Because she was like, I'm done. Like you're not going to shoot like at all at my house. She went crazy. So this lady is someone that like basically takes advantage of film students because she knows like we're like at the time we were students. So in her mind, she's like, I'm going to take the students' money and use any little thing that I can, even if it's not anything bad, against them and shut the whole production down and keep going. And that's exactly what she did. And like, like it just sucks as a film student. Like you already don't have that much money. Like, and it's not like school is that like cheap. So we're, and we have to fund our own films and everything. So it's a lot. So I felt so bad for her because nobody wants to like have their production be shut down by an owner that agreed that you can shoot at their home. So my advice, if you're going to ever rent your house or your property for a film set, do not rent it out. If you don't want people to move things around, if you don't want people to like sit on stuff or like walk around, like if if you have valuable stuff, it's just not worth it.
I think it's always a bad sign the moment that you see the owner still wandering about the premise of the location when you're shooting. I always think that's a bad sign. And I think that would segue kind of into my story that falls very closer to what happened to you, but this time it was for my own movie. So you were part of it for a couple of days. So I was shooting like my midterm short film that I got kickstarted with Kickstarter. And it was like my first big production, I guess you would say. It was a budget of 10 grand, which was the most money I've seen and put into a project myself. So it was a lot was riding on this project, and I was very nervous, but I was also excited because it was a very cool passion project, and I felt like I was kind of going beyond what like a school was expecting me to do. I was making a boxing movie called Guard, and we got funded and all that stuff, and everything seemed to go pretty smoothly. And like I said, Priscilla, you were there for the first 2 days at the gym.
Yes, I was there.
You were assisting there, and it was really awesome moments. Some of the coolest experiences I've ever had on set. But we did have two, I guess, situations that when I talk about them out loud, usually people like don't want to believe me, and it's ridiculous. So we were on our second day, I think. On our second day, and it was our most heavy day. It was the day that we kind of focused on the fight in the boxing ring. We were shooting at a boxing gym that I would go to a lot.
And he trained the actors like how to fight too.
Yeah. So I was like putting in work.
Like, as the director got into like, you know, was like, I'm gonna like train with my actors. He was in the gym every day with them, like literally like a boxer. So like very dedicated to
putting in work. So everything just felt like it was falling in place. You know, it was a lot of hard work and a lot of sleepless nights, but it was working out. And this was on the second day. And I'm not sure if you were here for this one, Pris. Maybe you were. You can remind me. It was kind of like a shit show when it happened. So I had one of my main actors, not to get into crazy detail, but one of my main actors, very friendly guy. Like he was very he had a lot of close friends on the set there, and apparently I had another guy that was on my set as well who was doing, he wasn't an actor, he was like one of the crew guys, like doing like building like stuff for the sets. And my actor friend, or my actor, was being very friendly, and there was one specific person that he was being extra friendly to, but it's because they'd known each other for years, and it was nothing different for them. But apparently we find out later that this guy, that the one that was building the sets, had either some insecurities or he was just a very, very jealous type of person. This guy took it the wrong way. And I think it was honestly like he gave the girl a hug. It was one of my people in my crew also that my actor gave a hug to, and you could tell that they were close, but like I said, they were very close friends. You know, they both said that after everything was over. And like I said, the other guy didn't see it as that. So right when the set was over and it was just a beautiful, glorious day of shooting, I noticed that guy is kind of the guy that built the sets was kind of acting like a little uneasy and kind of stirring up some trouble a little bit. Like he was saying stuff, and all of a sudden he goes up to the actor and he starts yelling at him. He's like, don't make me look like a fool. He's like, this, that, and the other.
That's a
complete and utter disrespect to the crew, to the actors, to my actor that was a phenomenal actor and was doing what he needed to do. And luckily for my actor, he was able to compose himself. And I'm telling you, this guy's like 6'5", 6'7".
Yeah.
I forgot how tall he was. And he's ready. He literally can rip you in half.
Yeah.
Buff as all hell. And I was like, why would you get in that guy's face? So the guy literally was like a bull. He started seeing red. That's all he saw was just red. And it was just like, come on, man. Like saying so many like disrespectful, really, really fucked up and nasty things to the female crewmate that I had, and then he started saying stuff to the actor, and then he eventually was like, "Let's fight outside." And I was like,
"Oh my god, ratchet. Don't ever fight at your job."
Yeah, I was like, "Oh my god, what is happening right now?" And I'm trying to calm him down, and I'm just telling him like, "Dude, relax. Like, what is wrong with you? It's all in your head." He's like super delusional. And we're telling like, dude, it was a good day today, man, and you're ruining it. And it was just crazy. And like we break it up. My actor leaves home safely. We're all good. And we saw, and it was a 5-day shoot. This was day 2 out of 5. So we're like, oh
you have a long.
yeah. So I'm like, crap, dude. So I talked to my assistant director, who was like my right hand guy at the time, and after we kind of break everything up, we like tell everyone like, all right, everyone just leave. Everything's over now. I talked to the crewmate that got yelled at, and I told her what was the situation. She explained to me everything. Then I talked to my actor. He was fine. And then the other guy, we were talking, and he just was talking nonsense. Just nonsense. I told him, I was like, bro, just go home. When he left, me and my assistant director are talking like, dude, we gotta fire this guy. Like, he cannot come back. Keep in mind, he was getting paid, and like he was doing a solid job, but that is just not acceptable on set. And so we tell him, we call him, and he's like super nice to us. He's like, hey man, like I know that what I did was wrong, this, that, and the other. If you want to fire me, I understand, but I promise I won't do that. And I'm like, no shit, I'm gonna fucking fire you, dude. Like, that was literally the dumbest thing you could have ever done. And so we got rid of him, and it was funny too, because later on he started going to the gym that I would go to, the boxing gym, and he would train with me. And he would always, every day, he would like defend himself of what he did, as if like he did the righteous thing. I was like, no, man, you don't do what you did. And then he was supposed to work on someone else's set, and then later on, my friend that was set that he was gonna work on with me, like completely different. He goes, "Oh yeah, I forgot that he did that on your set. I'm gonna fire him." And then after that, I never saw him again. He never came back to the gym. Nothing. He was just gone. And so he was a pain in the ass to deal with for that day and the hours after, but it was cool. So then fast forward to the last 2 days of the shoot, and we moved production to this house. And this is the story that I was saying that relates a little bit like to the one that you just told me. Mm-hmm. So, you know, all of us kind of get the bad energy away from that guy that was starting all that trouble and drama. And we're still like headstrong trying to shoot this film. We're doing good stuff. We're super proud of the work we're doing. All the drama's out behind us. And I rented a house on Gigster. This woman in Pasadena, and she was really nice and sweet when I was there. And the moment that I noticed, and this is what I'm telling you, I got to the location super early, and we're offloading the truck, and she just goes, "If you need me, I'll be in my office." That was a red flag right there. I was like, "Oh shit, she's staying here, so she's gonna be watching everything we're doing."
Yeah,
and this lady was the biggest pain in my
ass. He's just like, what is he doing?
She would come out of her office, and like keep in mind, like her house was like super tiny, so it wasn't like she was like super far away from us. Like she just had to walk out of the room, and she would see us roaming around. One thing, we couldn't walk with shoes on in her house, which made kind of sense, but if you know anything about a film crew, you're working with a lot of heavy equipment, could smash some toes up, so it's not a good idea. But we made the best of it. But every 10 minutes, she would nitpick one little thing, like, "Oh, can you guys not move my table? It's a vintage table from like the 19th century, and if you touch it or blow on it, it'll evaporate into dust." And I'm like, "Lady, dude, like, leave us the fuck alone. We're trying to do this."
You have like a fucking fragile table. Like, just don't. I'm scarred from tables because that happened to me, and like, literally was trying to sue me for a scratch on the table. Like,
yeah, it's crazy. Like, this lady was like, the same thing for you. She was like, "Oh, it's a vintage table." Like, she had vintage like stuff, and I was like, we're being as careful as we can, and it was crazy. And she was just like super nitpicky. I think one point, like one of my electric guys, he like accidentally disconnected the modem, so the internet went down for like 5 minutes, and she got so pissed. And he's like, "Oh, sorry, I tripped over the cable." She's like, "Why are you doing that? This, that, and the other," like yelling at us. And I'm like, my producer, who was really badass and like spoke out a lot, was like, "Listen here, lady, like we rented this location for this amount of time. We paid you. The internet's gonna be reconnected. There's no issues." And we were just like, she kind of backed away from me a little bit. I think a good producer and a good assistant director kind of gets the people that are there to bother you they get him away from the director, so the director focuses on the movie.
Exactly.
And I did notice that she was in the way a lot, but for the most part, my producer did a really good job. So, anyways, it was 2 days there, and second day wasn't so bad, but like she looks at me. We have like a whole scene left, and we have like an hour left on the location, and she's literally timing me by like every second.
And that like caused stress on set because you're like, okay, she's like timing me.
Yeah, she looks at me like, you got 49 minutes and 52 seconds left, and I'm just like, Jesus Christ, lady, are you fucking kidding me? Leave me alone. And later on, I find out that like they have no right to do that. Like you paid and you get to use the location however way you want it because she agreed to that, and those were the terms of service. But at the time, I'm like, oh my god, she's gonna kick me out when I only have one scene left. I'm trying to abide to her rules, so she fucks off. It's a big mess. So I'm just nervous, and we get it done eventually, and we start cleaning up with like some time to spare. We have like 20 minutes left, and she sees us. She sees us cleaning. She sees us putting stuff away in a rush. Yeah. And she literally looks at her watch and she goes, "You got 5 minutes left, Jose, or I have to charge you more." And I was like, "Oh my god, we're cleaning. You clearly see us, and we're freaking out trying to clean."
Even asking, what are the terms of agreement? So, like, what would have happened if you didn't make it out by like that hour?
Okay, the terms of agreement for that specifically, she could have charged me more because she would have been like, he wasn't out when he was supposed to be. Yeah. But there's a thing with Gigster, I think, that they give you a cleaning
website where you rent houses. By the way.
Yeah, when you rent houses,
where we get locations and stuff. Mm-hmm. So mainly, like Gigster, Splacer. There's like a couple. Did I say that right? I hope I did. Not sue me. Just kidding. But yeah, so there are different websites. It's literally like Airbnb. It's like all these different locations ranging from like a house to like barns to coffee shops, like literally anything. And they put like anywhere from like $70 an hour to like thousands of dollars. So you're paying either hourly or you can negotiate a flat rate for the day. Most of the time, I've rented houses. I usually try to go for $1,000 a day with that. So like basically for 12 hours, paying a flat $1,000. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
That's like the thing with the gigs and stuff. You don't ever notice how much money those locations cost until you see the money drain out of your bank account.
Where all the money goes, like for film, I feel like
it's like 40-30% of your budget. Because I remember I was like $100 an hour. That's not that bad, and then it built up to like $3,000 for 2 days or something like that. I was like, oh shit, that's a lot of money. But so she was rushing us, like I was saying, and we're just like, oh my god, like lady, like back off. And we finished literally like with like 3 seconds to spare. And she's like, oh, you did a good job. And this is in Pasadena, by the way. So the reason I'm saying that is because there's going to be another part to this story that kind of includes everything. But I remember that that was the end of the shoot. And we're supposed to be like tired, and I mean, we're supposed to be accomplished and feel like we did something. And we're like, yeah, we did it. I remember when I started the day, I had a speech ready.
Yeah.
And I was so defeated by that lady's bullshit that I remember that everyone kind of piled up circled up, and I said, all right, bye guys. And I just got in my car and left because I was so done. I was so fucking tired. And I remember that at that time.
Too, like, especially because like you're working so hard, you're working 12-hour days, and it's like 3 to 5 days, and you're like, working with all types of different people, and you want it all to go smooth, and then you have someone like watching your every move, like you got 1 minute left.
Yeah, she was literally doing that behind me, just like literally breathing down my neck. I remember I got in my car and I just like yelled at the top of my lungs for no specific reason, just to get that last bit of energy out.
It's like daily.
I just started screaming, and I was like, and I had to just get that out, and then I was like, it's over, like calm down, and I just drove away. And so this last part happened. This is the last part that happens. You're gonna be like, oh my god. And so I at the time I lived in Culver City, and I had
like a 40-minute drive from Pasadena
with no traffic. It was probably like 45-minute drive. And the location was in Pasadena, and I had a good night's sleep. I honestly was like, I'm never gonna talk to this lady. I'm not even gonna leave her a fucking review, dude. Like, screw this lady. And then I get a call like at I don't even know. It was really early. It was like 7 a.m. And I was like, oh, what the hell? What does she want? What happened? And she goes, hey, Jose, you left a whole bunch of film equipment at my house, and I need you to pick it up.
No.
Or I have to charge you like another $300 for like a cleaning fee. And keep in mind that I think at the time Gigster had a cleaning fee included. But like I said, I was very naive and I had no idea what I was doing. I was like, I just want to get it over with. And the way she sounded, so like some people sound so like for sure of themselves that I was like, oh man, she knows what she's talking about. Like she's gonna fucking charge me.
She's trying to get money, like
yeah, exactly. She was trying
to get money.
yeah, so she so I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I'll head out there right now. And I just like pack my stuff up and I drive on out over there. And I'm like literally like rolling my eyes, like, oh my God, I need sleep so bad and all that stuff. I'm so exhausted. That was my day off. I get it's luckily the traffic wasn't that bad. And I get there. It was like an hour drive, 45-minute drive. And I get to the house. And at the time, she had another group of people, like another film crew checking out the place. I wish at the time I was like, fuck that lady, do not go in there, do not go in there,
no,
stay away.
So differently.
Yeah, so I saw them. So she goes, hey, Jose, and I was like, hey.
That's like a slap in the face.
Yeah, and then you're not gonna believe this, and I swear this is the part that people don't believe me. And I was like, I swear to you that this is what happened. She comes up to me and she goes, yeah, and she walks me to the side of the house. And she goes, yeah, if you don't take that off, I'm going to have to charge you for the cleaning fee. And it's like, she pointed up at the window, at the edge of the window, and there was some tape there.
There's what?
Tape. And so I go, oh, I rip it off. And I'm expecting like, oh, she's going to show me the back where like people left.
Not make this shit up, guys. Like, I'm not even joking. Like this is real life, like stuff on
it was like a piece of gaff tape.
But like, this happens to me too. Like it's insane.
Yeah. So I rip off the tape. I remember like I climbed like a little because it was like elevated a little bit, so I had to climb up like a little step ladder. I'm tall as it is, and I rip it off.
Yeah.
I look at her and I was like, okay, what is the film equipment and like what is it that you need me to take? And she goes, no, that's it. All right, bye, Jose. And then she walked away from me. And I was like, I was so defeated. I literally was just like, what? Are you kidding me? And so after that, and then this lady had the nerve to like reach out to me on Gigster and be like, hey, Jose, if you ever need my location again, just let me know. I'm here for you. You and your crew did a great job. And I constantly kept getting reminders from Gigster to be like, leave a review. And I was like, oh, I just want to leave a whole fucking novel. I'm like, fuck this lady. She was this and that and this. And I was like, you know what? Just ignore it. And let just continue on.
Yeah.
So that was just hell for a couple of days, and I tried to stay optimistic as possible, and now it's a funny story to tell, so that's a good thing.
Oh my God, that's insane. Wait, we have some questions on the side here. Let me scroll up a little bit. I think somebody asked if there's any like problems between the DP, like can I scroll back up? Oh wait, I think I can. Basically between the DP and the director, like if there's ever like, like they're trying to control the set more than the other. I personally never had like any issues with my DP. Like I always worked really well with them. Like we just get each other. Like you always meet with you always meet with your DP before and go over the shot list and how you imagine the scene and envision it. So it's like you have a conversation before you get on set, and you already know what to do. It's not like, oh, like I'm gonna do my own thing and like she's gonna do her own thing. It's always like communicating. And honestly, I wouldn't personally like to work with people that like were like, oh, I'm better than you. Like I'm gonna say, like I feel everyone on my set is always equal and can bring something to the table 100%. Like everyone brings something that like I couldn't, and that's what makes it such a great team. You cannot make a movie by yourself. So if you have a selfish attitude, like this is not the business
for sure. I agree. The three people also, you can hear me, right, Priscilla?
Yeah, I can.
The three people that you definitely want to have by your side at all costs are your producer, especially if you're independent.
Which we are. We should probably explain what independent versus like.
Yeah, I was gonna go into that because someone asked a question, but I'll just say this.
Yeah, explain.
So you want your producer, to be on top of everything. You want your assistant director to be on top of everything, and you want your DP to have a constant communication with you. When you have those three head departments moving and working in unison, you got yourself a solid set.
Yeah.
And after that, it's just about adjusting. But if one of those starts falling back and like not doing what they're supposed to do, that's when you run into issues.
Yeah.
Right here we have a question real quick that says, when picking a set, is the process different from independent filmmakers? So for independent filmmakers, I think that the biggest difference is that a lot of the money comes out of your pocket. So you're looking for locations like what me and Priscilla would find, where it's like $100 an hour or whatever. And other film sets like studios, either they have pre-built studios, like literally like a house looking studio in their like parking lot, or they rent out the house for like a month straight and pay a ridiculous amount to just do whatever the hell they want and go wild. And for us, especially when we're slowly learning the industry, we get a lot of those moments where we're getting like bullied around, like what happened to me, or what happened to Priscilla's filmmaker when she was helping out. So I think that's the biggest difference.
Too. Like it happens all the time. I mean, the unfortunate thing is that people in LA that live here, they know this is the movie capital. You know, everyone comes here to make movies, so they know, like, okay, like they need a house, they need a location, they're gonna pay $2,000 to like film here. And it's true, we do, because like where else do we go to film? And like, you know, if everyone's prices are like $2,000, you can't really do anything about it. So going forward, I will probably be shooting out of state.
I think a lot of the good things is meeting people. So like for me, it's like the biggest thing with independent filmmaking is networking is like a big vital thing. And a big example would be like that boxing film. I did pay a ton of money for
let's talk about that. Like, how much was your budget for that?
It was $10,000. And I would say like 30% of it was that house with the hell lady, and then I had the boxing gym. But luckily for me, I went to that boxing gym and I made a very good relationship with the owner of the boxing gym, so he didn't pay me he didn't charge me anything. But if it was that, if he charged me for the location and then that lady charged me as well, easily I would say like 60% of my budget would have been to location. So that was one thing for me, was location took a big chunk of it. And when I noticed it, I was like, oh shit. Another thing that takes a lot of money that you don't notice is feeding your crew. I'm not saying like, oh man, don't feed your crew so you can save some more money, but it's just like, be a little bit more, just, you got to be smart with your money. You know what I mean? So feeding the crew for those 5 days, like ended up being like well over $1,000 for sure. And you know, I always heard that like filmmakers complain about pizza and stuff like that, mainly because
I love pizza, honestly.
it slows them out. Yes, I'm so like against that. I'm like, bro, if you brought pizza, I'll be so happy. But people are just like, oh, it slows you down, the grease makes them sleepy and all that stuff. It's like, then don't shove 30 slices down your throat and maybe you'll be all right. My producer, the first time, sorry, I'm trying to get a bottle of water here. My producer, the first time, she was like, oh, like we should get them Chinese food and stuff. And so we bought Chinese food, and I
got a taco like stand on mine.
Oh, that was fire though. That was fire. Yeah, right. The Chinese, I mean, the Chinese food ended up being like $450 or something, or $500. I was like, oh my god, that was so much money. I remember that 50. I was like, fuck you guys are getting Little Caesars. No, I love my crew, but I was like, damn, I can't afford this, guys. You guys are gonna get like 10 extra large pizzas for like $50 or something. I'm sorry, but I can't at this time afford giving you guys gourmet dinners or something like that. But morale is so important. So you gotta balance it. So like if you guys are giving them pizza and like they clearly don't want that, you know, you want your crew to feel like energetic and like ready to go, you know what I mean? So like it's a balancing act. It's a way you communicate with your crew. It's a way that you treat your crew. You know, don't, just because there's someone that's a very low position, like don't look down on them, especially for independent filmmakers, because for the most part they're probably working for free. So treat everybody like they're the fucking rock star that they are, and they're putting in the work that they are doing, and be appreciative about that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And honestly, like it's honestly amazing like what people can do when you just it's not like we all our movies that we made, there was no like money involved. We weren't getting paid. Like our film school was like, you're working on everyone's set in your class, but you're not gonna get paid. Like you're just doing it to learn and get credit. And like some people got like, oh, like why? But like to me, it's like it was great because you just learn and learn and learn. It's like, and like I was following like my passion and dream, so it's not even about the money.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. I was saying the same thing where I was like, I was putting in money that I technically didn't have into projects, but I was so optimistic where I was like, this is gonna propel me the direction I want. So a lot of the time, like from my thesis film, I was like taking a lot of money out of my own personal bank account, but I just kept telling myself, I was like, it's gonna be worth it because this is what you were asking for. And for film schools, film schools aren't really helping you out on the financial side.
oh, okay.
So what they do is they give you a camera.
Like credit for helping us out financially because we paid for our films ourselves 100%. The only thing that our school gave us was equipment to use to shoot, like the camera and like some lighting and
very basic stuff.
Yeah,
very basic stuff. And then for me, like specifically, I remember that like I said, Priscilla said that she gives the school just provides camera and some lighting equipment. I remember when I did my thesis, my DP, which I think he's amazing, and everyone should check out his work. His name is Zach Stanky. I remember he was like, we're not going to use this. We're not going to use that. We're not going to use this. And then I realized like, oh shit, we're not using anything from our crew, our what do you call it? Our tool list. Like we're not using the camera that the school provides. We're using lights from all over the place. Like it was very different for me. Oh, there's Ali.
Yeah. Hey, what's up? So basically, oh wait, were you gonna continue on that? Sorry.
No, that was basically it. Just the school doesn't really help you out, and they don't help you out outside of providing the camera for you, basically.
Yeah.
But you want to tell us another one? I kind of went on a long tangent with the last story.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys.
I try to do some shorter ones after. I got some good juicy stories.
Yeah, this one's a little bit shorter. It was okay. So another film set, I was doing wardrobe and set design again. So I was in charge of like making sure the set looks good and props, and also making sure the actors were dressed for the scenes, which I can totally handle doing both. I was like, yeah, this is awesome. The only thing that was crazy about this set was it was about two older women, like grandmas, robbing a liquor store.
Yeah.
So the
hours, your last films that you worked on too.
Yeah.
Right?
So the hours were just insane. We would literally start shooting. We would go on set at like 10 p.m. and we would shoot till like 6 in the morning. Like I don't do all nighters. Like even in high school when I was like, I want to do it all night.
All nighters are the worst.
It's 3 a.m. and falling asleep.
The worst thing is all nighters that are like
on set.
The first 2 days are regular hours, and then the last day's an all-nighter because you're like done. I hate all-nighters, and every time I read that we're gonna have an all-nighter on our call times, I would be like, oh god. And they were always battles. They were always battle of wills for me. I probably fainted like 52 times throughout my
eye bags. Like I'm not even joking. Like my family was like, "Are you not getting enough iron? Like what's wrong?" And I'm just like, "No, I'm on set till 6 in the morning."
I remember that I had, not to take your story, like just hold on to it real quick. I remember one of the first sets. I remember when I started Knifefoot, I was very adamant about working on as many sets as I could just to get experience. So like anyone that, and for some reason, like people that are like about to graduate, they like take advantage of the freshmen because everyone's just like so giddy, like I want to work. So I met this group of kids that were like master degree students, and they were about to graduate. They were doing their thesis, and I made friends with one of them, and he kind of like pipelined me to work on other projects. On other thesis projects. So I was like, I remember that I was looking at my own colleagues and classmates and being like, I'm gonna go work on some theses right now, guys. So cool. And they really do take advantage of you, man. They will run you down to the ground. And I remember one of the sets, I was shooting at a desert, and it was a full night shoot outside in the desert.
God. And the desert gets cold at night, guys. Like
I remember it was the worst. And so I it was hell just shooting, but we finally did it. I was a grip at the time, which is basically the guy that built stuff and put stuff together. And I remember that I was gonna leave, and this was near Santa Clarita, and I'm driving. I'm about to head home, and the producer's like, "Hey, Jose, like, do you think that you can drive these guys back home to Burbank?"
Oh my god.
And of course, I'm
not an Uber.
Yeah, I'm a goddamn yes man at that time. I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. Like, in my
Right.
head, I was like, oh, like you scratch my back, I'll scratch your back, you scratch mine, kind of thing in the future.
Right.
Keep in mind, that crew specifically, no one's ever helped me ever since I helped them out. So it's whatever. It's an experience.
Not everyone will help you.
Yeah, exactly. But it was an experience nonetheless. So I learned.
Right.
Anyway, so I'm driving these guys back home, and I don't know why my stupid maps told me, hey, you're gonna save like 10 minutes taking this road. And it was like a windy road up a mountain with no guardrails and stuff. And I'm like, this isn't a good idea when I'm like sleep deprived.
Right.
And I remember that I started fighting off sleep while driving. Very dangerous. Don't ever do that, guys. And I remember I kept doing like the twitch where like you're trying to shake it off. I was like, And I remember I was like about a mile away from the exit to get on Bob Hope near Burbank.
Yeah.
And I'm driving straight in my head. I'm nervous as fuck, but I'm trying to keep my cool because I have a car full of crewmates.
Right.
And all of a sudden, I'm driving and I just see a fog. I just see a cloud like cover my eyes. Yeah, it just covered my eyes. And I felt like I was there for like 7 seconds, 10 seconds. And I'm just driving straight. And I was gone. I think I like passed out while with my eyes open driving. And I remember the guy. I tell the driver guy, like, if you see me like kind of like out, smack me, dude. And so I remember he like elbows me in the chest. And right when he elbows me, I come into like consciousness and I hit the brakes because I was like going into a car. And I was like, oh my God.
Oh my God.
I'm breathing hard. And I was like, oh my God. I'm playing it cool and stuff. Like, I'm good. Like, I know what's going on. Yeah. And I remember I dropped those guys off. They're like, all right, see you, man. They're like as if nothing happened. And I'm like, holy shit. I think I'm
like never call it again.
Yeah. And so and after that, I literally could not drive home. I was in no condition of driving home. I parked at the Vaughn's parking lot. And I fell asleep for like 10 hours in my car.
Yeah, like that will happen. Like I was so tired working on because it was 3 days. It was like 3 12-hour days, just like from 10 to 6. And you're not like just sitting around like, oh, I'm like staying up. Like you're working, you're doing stuff. And like
the worst ones are like when they make you work and then you get like a lot of downtime.
Yeah.
So you're like build one thing and then you're done and they're like, all right. And then they take like so long for the next scene to start. So like your sleepiness kicks in.
Mm-hmm. Also after lunch, because even it's called lunch, even though it was like
3 in the morning,
like midnight, or like no, we ate at like 2 in the morning, and it was still called lunch.
Yeah.
And I'm just like eating mashed potatoes at 2 in the morning, just like okay, could be worse, right? But then you just get so sleepy because my stomach's like full of mashed potatoes.
Mashed potatoes is a really bad food to have. An all-night shoot.
Like they had it there, so I was like, oh, it's warm. It was in December, so it was freezing outside. I was literally wearing a fur coat jacket on set, like a pimp. And I was like, I don't care. Like I'm cold. And I'm eating the mashed potatoes. I'm like getting sleepy now. And I'm like, I'm not in that scene. I'm not acting. So I'm just like waiting for it to happen. And I'm just like leaning on like the where all the energy drinks are, because the liquor store. And I'm just like, I can feel like the cold like fridge just like on my head. I'm like, it was just so uncomfortable, and I was like shivering.
But you literally find like the most awkward places to sleep, and you'll it'll feel godly. Like you'll be like, oh my God, like that trash bag looks delicious right now. You lay on it and it'll feel like a cloud. Yeah. Or you'll just like find like a white wall.
I was laying on the floor at the liquor store. I'm like, this is rock bottom. I don't know.
Yeah. No, you see a lot of people's nasty sides in the all-night shoots. You'll be like, dang, they are.
Yeah. Oh, and I was like drinking. I was pounding Red Bulls because I was like, I gotta stay up.
Red Bulls are the saviors of all-night shoots.
And one of the actors was like, which I never had even met this person, like, was like, oh, like you're making that Red Bull look really good. Like, can I have some? And I'm just like, no, I don't like share. I really don't like sharing my drinks. Of course,
yeah.
Especially with strangers.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know you, dude.
Yeah, we're like, my Red Bull.
Yeah.
We're like, bitch. But yeah, and then I was like, okay, it's fine. Like, it's 3 days of this, but like, you know, you have your Red Bull, you're fine. But then the script supervisor, which is what Jose did on my shoot, which is the person who makes sure like the continuity is the same and everything's like exactly like the script says. He got really, really sick, and was like, I really, really cannot make it like to the shoot. Like this was day 2, and this was literally 2 hours before we're supposed to be on set. And the director was like freaking out. She's like, I don't know what to do. Like, and I already have 2 positions. I'm already doing the wardrobe and the production design. And she's just like, could you also do script supervising? So I'm just like, you know, because she was my friend, and like you know, like when shit goes down, like you have to just be able to step in. You can't like make it harder. So I was like, okay,
in independent shoots, it's like
you're
for sure gonna have like multiple roles. You're gonna be a grip, but you're also gonna be like a gaffer at one point.
Exactly. I'm like, I'm doing makeup, but I'm also directing.
No, that's so true. I remember that was me too. Like, that's one thing that a lot of independent filmmakers have trouble doing is they don't want to give up roles to other people because you're so accustomed to being that one-man army. So then when you see somebody, especially a solid ass team, being like, hey, I can handle this, and you're just like, I don't know how to react to it because I'm not used to that. So yeah, that's very true. I actually have a funny story to tell you because you were mentioning Red Bulls and people getting sick. So I was shooting. I won't name his name just because you know, I don't want to out him out, even though I think he'd probably think it would.
You don't want any haters? I'm just kidding.
I don't think you'd get mad. Just be like, just to respect his personal space and all that stuff. But I think he would find it funny. So we're shooting one of my close friends Vittoria's movies, and I had a buddy, and he's the kind of the one that like got me into like pounding Red Bulls to like survive film shoots. Yeah, and he was really into like these white Red Bulls. Yeah, and I remember that. He got to set early in the morning and he just chugged one straight. And he said that he did not eat anything. He said
at 7 a.m.
Yeah. He said that he did not eat one thing. And I remember that he's like putting in work, and all of a sudden I just see him just like projectile vomiting. Yeah.
Like if I see someone puke, like I might puke too. So
it was literally like it was like a cartoon though. Like I thought it was so funny. Luckily he was okay. So I think it was cool.
I would have laughed.
Yeah, but it was like it was like cartoons.
What was he doing?
Like shooting out
together, or like what was he doing?
I think he was like lifting up some equipment, and then he like took a knee for a second, and then he just started spraying like a hose. I never seen someone projectile vomit like that. And I won't get into too much details, but that was wild. And so I was like, oh my God, man, like, holy crap, is he okay? And then turns out he had like a heat stroke, and then like the Red Bull like triggered him to like puke up his guts after like being overheated. Oh my God. Shit, man, I remember that. After that, I was like, okay, note to self, don't go to set without eating a good hearty breakfast because you will puke.
Yeah, honestly, that's where I always fuck up because like I don't know why I don't eat breakfast before going on set, and then I'm always like, what can I eat at the crafties table? And then I'll have coffee, and I don't really drink coffee that much, so I'm like super jittery on set, just like, but going forward, I'm always gonna eat breakfast because I'm done making that same mistake of just like being starving on set and then have to go into all the chips and bagels and stuff because you always have to have crafties, which is a bunch of like snacks. Because you don't get like lunch until 6 hours of shooting or work. So yeah.
And sometimes those 6 hours feel like hell. Like you're just like, oh my God, I'm so hungry right now. Especially if you're putting in work, it feels like hell. But I want to talk about let's talk about your personal films and what situations have happened with you. Because I know Years of Faith was not.
Oh my God.
Was not.
So
experience.
I like don't even like talk about that anymore because I'm just like I'm gonna move on from that.
Yeah.
But you know,
there's a story to tell. And I think this is the perfect way to tell
it. So basically, like Jose had mentioned earlier, you always like as a director, you want to have a close relationship with the producers because they're like, you know, literally helping you produce the film. Like they're getting all the crewmates together. They're in charge of the money. You know, they're in charge of the permits, all that. So the director's all creative and producers are kind of like the business side. So I was working with this one guy who I didn't know, but somebody had recommended me to him saying that he works really well. He's done a lot of films mind you, he also went to my school. So the number one rule at school is you're not allowed to charge other students, right? I had mentioned that before. So he was like he was like just so charming. He was very
That's the
like,
thing. I think a lot of people especially at the school we went to, they try to act like they know what the hell they're talking about. It's like, bro, you're just as clueless as I am, man. But you guys are talking like you're like hot shit. And sometimes you do fall for it. I've fallen for it.
I fell for it.
Yeah.
So
continue. He was like,
doing?
trust me, he was talking to me too, and he was just like, what's it called?
He was an actor. Honestly.
Yeah. He was like, he knows his business, man. He must have like credits behind him and everything.
He basically knew how to talk himself up, and I was like, okay, like so far he sounds great. I want to bring people who are driven to the team. Like, let's do it. Blah blah blah. So I kept asking him like, hey, like, should we start like putting together the crew, because like a lot of people are shooting the same weekend that I'm shooting. I don't know if like a lot of people are going to be available. And he's like, no, don't worry. Like, I got it all under control. So I'm like, okay. He's like, you're the director. Like, focus on the like creative side. I'm going to do this part. I'm like, okay. We get closer and I'm like, hey, like, who's my crew? Like, what's going on? And he's like, we're going to have to start hiring crew because everyone's all booked up. And I'm literally like, I literally had told you like a month ago, like, you need to start finding people because I don't want to pay for crew. And so he was like, we have no option. Like, this is what we have to do. Like, everyone's shooting that weekend. So obviously, like, in a moment of desperation, you're going to be like, okay, fine. Like, I'm going to fucking pay people, I guess, which it was scary to me because I'm like, I'm a student. I have to like, literally, I wanted to put all the money into the film, not into like crew, because I didn't have to at that point. But anyway, what he did was he knew I didn't know all these crew members personally because I had just started out at film school. So he basically was like saying that these people had graduated so that I could pay them, so these people were actually still attending my school, and they were like saying like, yeah, my rates are like $300 to $500.
Keep in mind though, if you paid a student at our school, they would instantly get kicked out of the school. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you mentioned that, so continue.
Yeah. So basically he has like, I don't know, like 4 or 5 people in on it, just like cashing in on me.
This was the heist of the century.
Yeah, and he's basically saying to me, if he's just like, okay, I got everything in control. Like, just when it comes down to it, like, give me your card and we'll pay. And I was like, listen, I was like, I want to see receipts, and then when I see the receipts, I'll give you the money. He's like, yeah, we'll figure that all out later. Like, don't worry, like, blah blah. And I'm just like, okay. And then like we shoot the film, and like as soon as we had stopped shooting, like the second we like wrapped up, he comes up to me. He's like, you need to start paying people now. And I'm just like, what? Like, paying like who and what? Like, I had no idea who I was like paying, and like that's a big no-no. Like, the producer's job is to literally like write down like how much each person is getting paid, like what they're doing, and like, whatever, everything. And I had no idea like who was getting paid, what they were doing. It was just like super like unorganized, and I felt like he was like almost like pocketing money from me, because like it seemed like people weren't getting paid, because he's like, these people still need to get paid. And I'm like, well, where did this money go that I gave you? And I'm just like, and he's like, you need to Venmo these people $400, this person. And I'm just like, listen, I'm not sending anyone money until you tell me exactly how much their rate is and like whatever. And this guy
and receipts
could not give me any receipts, couldn't give me an explanation. So instead, he blows up on me, and he's just like, if you're not going to pay these people, like blah blah. And I'm just like, what? I'm like, I will pay these people, but I want to know how much, because you're just like saying random numbers. Like, I don't like trust you at this point. And he just like freaks out, and he cannot like come up with receipts, which is really suspicious, because if you're not hiding something, you should be able to show the receipts. And if it was my money, like coming from my bank account. So like, you're not going to be spending like $5,000 of my money without me knowing where it's going. So he's like, it's basically like attacking me, like all like trying to like fight with me. And he's like, don't ever talk to me again, which I thought was suspicious. Like, why would you say that if like it wasn't shady? And then I like reached out to these people individually, and like some people even came clean. They're like, no, like, don't pay me. Like, I go to school, because they didn't want to get like kicked out and stuff. And I could have been petty and like taken him to like the principal, but I'm not that bitch. Yeah. I was like, let's handle it outside.
Well, he was also kind of cowardly, because he
was a coward. I saw him like walking in the halls, and I was like, oh, I'm so ready for this moment. Like, let's go. Like, I love confronting people.
Yeah.
And so I was walking, and I see him, and he literally sees me and just turns around and walks away so fast. And in that moment, I was like, you ain't shit. Like,
Yeah.
and you know what? That was all I needed. Like, I didn't need anything.
Me in the blacktop.
He's got to get kicked out of school. I don't need shit to happen to him. Like, I was okay with just knowing that he couldn't even look me in the eye. Like, he was just scared. So I was like, whatever.
I'll elaborate a little bit on my side of the story because I kind of worked with him too. So, like Priscilla said, it was for her film Years of Faith, and he was the producer. And like I said, I've worked with him prior on another project, but I didn't really know what his work ethic was like. I did notice that he did try to be a little too try-hardy. For God's sakes, he every time he sent you an email, he would have a headshot picture of himself in the emails.
He's like, in case you forgot this face.
In a suit. And I'm like, oh man, this guy's the real deal, man. He has a headshot on his email.
I'm gonna start doing that. Like,
yeah,
just, like, not even like film related, just like my mom. I'm like, hey.
Yeah, it's like that was just too much. But so I remember he was a military guy, so he was very like straightforward with stuff, and he would like ask you for stuff like very like demanding almost. He's like, we need this, we need that, we need this. And like I said, he was charming to a certain extent where he would know how to talk you into stuff. And so I remember that I started noticing some weird stuff when he would make me, Priscilla, and I think it was just me and Priscilla, like pick up everything.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we would have to pick up everything, and he was just like, I'm in class right now and all this stuff. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Okay, whatever, man. So then I hear that there's some NIFA students that are getting paid, and I'm just like, oh man, like, okay, that's kind of weird. And then I see a lot of equipment that he ordered. I was an assistant director at for this film, and I see a lot of equipment that he's ordering for the people that he hired, and I'm just like, why the fuck do we need this? Like, I swear you not, like at one point the person who was the camera person in that film, they got her like these robotic arms that I've never seen before. They literally
didn't even need. I wasn't making transformers.
They tie these arms to it. She was the camera wasn't even heavy, but they were these arms that you put on, and like I don't even know how to explain it, man. It reminded me of the fucking robot from the movie.
It literally was like
yeah, like it's meant to like pick up like a thing that's like 1 ton, like 1 ton or something like that. But I was like,
so much extra equipment that we did not need. Because I said that my film was set in the 90s, which I think he took that so far, like, and was like, "Oh, you need this," which I'm like, I did not need all this extra stuff. Like,
it was so weird. The robotic
just, like,
arms.
Money. Like, I'm gonna get the most expensive stuff and just like.
Yeah, I remember.
I was stupid and didn't notice.
I remember at one point we had 3 ACs, which are the people that like focus the camera. One of them was like my close buddy, and he was just like, "Why the hell is there 3 ACs?" And I was like, "Dude, I have no idea, to be honest." So, anyways, this guy's acting kind of fishy, and he's starting to show his colors every day. And then we're shooting the film, and he's all of a sudden he just goes, "I'm going to take up the role of assistant director and producer." And I'm like, what the hell am I supposed to do? He goes, "I need you to be my UPM, which is your unit production manager." And I'm just like, what? Like.
Which is not like, he can't be calling the shots like that. That's like,
So I'm just like, what the hell? And so he's just like, yeah, I need you to do it, man. And again, he charmed me out of the position. And I was just like, okay, I'll do it, I guess. And so then I do it. And he, the second day we have another friend of ours, a close buddy of mine, who comes in to help. And then he changes the roles where I'm the second aide, or the second AD, and he's the unit production manager. And I shit you not, all we did, he gave us 2 earpieces, and we started walking around the house like we were security. We were just like walking around like everything's clear. I have no idea why he was making us do that. And then how many days was your shoot?
It was 3 days of just bullshit. We're running out of time. We have like 1 minute.
Damn, maybe next time, guys.
To talk about, we'll probably
I was gonna mention the dead body part of this story, but maybe I'll say
we're gonna have to leave him. We're gonna have to leave him
cliffhanger.
The dead body.
Yeah.
But thank you guys for joining. Honestly, like, we could sit here and talk forever because we have so many stories, so many different experiences. But yeah, we don't fuck with that guy anymore, and we're not gonna recommend him to anyone because he actually was like he was talking shit about Jose to me, and I was like, hold the fuck up. You're not gonna talk shit about Jose to me. Like, I'm not. Like, we're not in high school. This is a real.
Yeah.
Stuff. So that's how I knew.
Oh
like,
man, I'm kind of sad we don't get to finish this story, but hopefully we get another chance, right?
Yes, I think so. But yeah, thanks guys. If you guys have any more questions, throw them in the comment box or whatever, and we'll try to answer them.
Yeah, and if you guys like this stuff, let us know.
And follow our movies and check out our IMDb.
Oh yeah, there you go. Check out our social media. Mine is laserbot_ on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
What's yours, Pris?
Fabulous Prissy. I'll type it in the chat, or I think, did it end? Let me, can I type it? I don't know if I can.